Welcome back, my friends. My name is Eric, and this is Rome. And I'm working on some spreadsheets. And I'm doing them mostly just for my own purposes at the moment. I'm not going to go too deep into today because there's going to be a new patch any minute now, which may very well change some of this information. But right here, we've got a list of ships for sale, or a list of ships in the game. These are all the Aegis Dynamics. And first of all, there's 25 Aegis Dynamic ships, either already flight ready and in game or in concept at this point. And most of them are in game, and there's it's like 3 concepts, and all the rest are there. There's a lot of ships. So I've got the ship, whether you can purchase it. Yes means both in the pledge store and in game. In game obviously is just in game. Pledge is only in the pledge store, but not in game. No means you can't purchase it for whatever reason. Maybe it's just a concept still. Maybe it's just not purchasable yet at the moment. Not yet, but at the moment. And so we've got that. Can you rent it? Almost nothing here can be rented. Is it flight ready, or is it a concept? What size is it? Small, medium, large, capital? Who manufactured it? In this case, they are all, whoops, come on. All Aegis Dynamics, because that's all I've typed in so far. Technology, human or alien? Maybe I'll break down the aliens, but realistically, I'm just interested in knowing, is there an alien tax, right? Are alien ships cost more, either in UEC or dollars or both? And that's why that's there. And the same for our keywords here. Is there a dropship tax, right? We all talk about the dropship tax. Well, I've only got one dropship in this whole section here. So hard to say. So I've got all the keywords here. What is it? So we can search by, what is the value for gunships of all the medium ships, right? What are the costs? Oh, look, the gunships are all at the top for total cost. We could do stuff like that. And finally, so we've got the actual cost in dollars, the cost in UEC, so in game, and then how many UECs does your dollar buy you? So the bigger this number, the better a value it is in real money, and the lower this number is, the better the value it is in UEC. Now, values are not a great language here, because I'm not saying the ship is a good value at any of those prices. I'm just saying, for instance, the new utility that we looked at, the Asperia Prowler utility, is a terrible value because it's a terrible ship for the amount of money and UEC it will be. But if you are going to buy it, if you decide it's something you want, are you better off buying it in real money or UEC? Which of those are you best at? So you can see an Avenger Stalker is $60 and costs 1.5 mil. So at 26,000 UEC per dollar, that's a reasonably low. You're not getting too many UEC for your dollar. This is probably not a ship you should buy with real money. It's probably a ship you should buy with UEC. In fact, even more so, because it's not very much UEC. But then we get down here and we see that on the Hammerhead, which is purchasable in game, so you don't even have the option at the moment of paying real dollars. But if it was, this is one that definitely the balance has swung the other direction. You get 66,000 UEC for every one of your dollars. So 3 times, well, more than double the UEC here. So your dollar goes a lot farther in the in-game economy than it does for this one. And we can see here the biggest one is the Reclaimer. And this one is purchasable in-game at the moment. I need to, let's see, this needs to be heavy. I changed how I was going to do this later. Salvage. Yeah, I think that's how I want to do that. So this is the best dollar value for what you're going to get. Your $400 buys you almost 32 million UEC worth of ship. So this one is a great dollar value if you have the option and you have the $400 without going broke or missing a payment or inconveniencing yourself in any way, shape, or form. Then this one is better purchasable with real money than with UEC as far as how much you get. Does that make sense? So a lot of these aren't purchasable right now at all. And we can come over here and we could sort all of this. Let's sort by UEC per dollar, and we'll see kind of what the deal is. Assuming I remember how to do this, let's go sort custom sort, and we are going to sort from, sort by column N is what we want. And smallest, no, we want largest to smallest. So we're going to look at the best value dollar-wise to the best value UEC-wise at the bottom. So what's like we already said, the reclaimer is your best option there. And then your best UEC purchase is a Peregrine, which would cost you $185 for a mere 4 million UEC, which you can see is only 21 UEC per dollar. Now, in theory, I messed up all my formatting here, but that's fine. I was going blind trying to follow lines across. So we can see kind of how that goes. And we can see that, well, we see a couple gunships up here. 3 gunships, actually, are all up there. Now, maybe I need to figure out better ways to do that. But for the moment, it's fine. I could always put keywords later. Realistically, this is probably better done as a database than a spreadsheet. But I'm more comfortable in Excel. Although I haven't done very much of it. I could easily do it in a database instead. I'm not a huge... I like data, but I don't have a lot of practice in data systems per se. Anyway, so do we see anything up here? We can see the salvage, industrial, lots of combat, the multi-role, right? This one at some point, none of these are purchasable. So realistically, this racing one is, you know, something that's a bad value dollar-wise, but a pretty good value UEC-wise. Like, that's the best value UEC-wise. And I think that's a ship that I don't know that there's a lot of uses for it other than the actual racing in Arena Commander, right? So, you know, your choice. You know, you can come here and see, like, what's cheaper, what's more expensive. Freight seems to be pretty reasonable UEC-wise. So if you're in it for the hauling game, which is great because you can make pretty consistent money hauling, you can upgrade from one ship to the next reasonably easily within this. You know, we were talking about starter ships and $60 price range, kind of what that gets you and what the next step up is. You know, so... yeah, it looks like freight is down here. Combat and more complicated ships are up here. I don't know what that means. I did briefly look at making charts. I thought it'd be nice to have a chart of each of these showing UEC and cost, and that graph would show you exactly what this shows, right? If you're only 400 here, but you're 31,000 up there, that's going to graph to show you a chart of what's a good value and what's not. So maybe a scatter chart, or they're each labeled. I need to teach myself. I used to know how to do that stuff in here, but it's changed a lot in the last, how long have I been using Excel? '92-ish, maybe. I had another one before that I played with. I don't remember the company now. They do still exist. I saw it the other day. Anyway, I've been using it for a long time. Let's say 30 plus years. It's changed a lot in that time, and I haven't needed it a lot since I left college. So that tells you something. Anyway, if this is something that interests you guys, if you guys are interested in this type of information, let me know. Like I said, I think this is probably better done in a database now that I've done a little bit of it, especially ways to put in keywords, because we can put technology in as a keyword as well. It doesn't need to be its own separate deal, right? So it'd be human versus alien, combat versus whatever, transport, hauling, whatever its primary is. I guess multi-role falls under that. And then is it a fighter, a gunship, a dropship? Does it do both? And then obviously our costs. Yeah. Let me know. I'm kind of putzing with it. This gives me an idea now. So if there's a ship I want, I can kind of type something in and go, okay, well, realistically, I'm going to fall somewhere between 20,000 and 80,000 UEC per dollar. Which way is my money or my UEC best spent? Where do I make those decisions with the money I do have? Which ones are the best purchases for that? The rest I'll buy with UEC, kind of sort of thing. Anyway. That's all I got for that. I know this is a really weird Star Citizen video. but I do like my spreadsheets. I was an Eve player. We'll see you next time. Cheers.